Hi, this is Kirk with the Forex Trading Secrets, and what we're going to be doing today is talking about hidden trading tools for successful trading. Now, these are tools you probably all have used before, but you may not use them to the extent that they can be used for successful trading. I'm going to use a combination of a whole bunch of tools and show you how you can mark points of interest, track time frames. It may, in the beginning, appear like, well, I already know that material, but you'll find that there'll be something in here, the way I do things, that may make your trading just a little bit easier. This is not something that I came up with. It took years. I've been using the MetaTrader platform for 12 or 13 years around a lot of traders, worked for a brokerage firm, and we had to be trained on a lot of the things, and then working around other people to, over the years, would bring things to my attention. But these are some things that I wanted to share with you uh, today to help you to become more proficient. So you're not learning how to use the tools, you're learning how to trade, but the tools will be of help to you. Everything that we're going to show you today, you can learn very quickly. So we're going to go to the charts and we'll take a look at what the hidden tools are. Now, these are tools I use every day, but I use them, I think, more extensively than most people. And they're these lines, the vertical, horizontal, angled lines, and this box. And how do I use it? I'm going to show you some very basic setups on it. First of all, you click on the line, bring it down, click it, and wherever you click it, that's the place it's going to go. Now, the same thing applies to all of these lines. If you want to move it, you double click it. Then you can click on it and you can move it wherever you want to slide it across your chart. Now, here's something that people like to see sometimes. Now, is what I'm going to do. This is for when you would be studying right here, for example. I pick that spot. Every one of these bars is red, going short. I thought, okay, as long as they're going short, I want to trade in that direction when I'm learning how to trade. So it's double clicked. I click on the control key, click on the vertical line, and I can drag it over. Now, between these two spots, that's where I want to trade and take a look at it. That's one thing. Now, you can click on that. Again, it's highlighted. It's just the one that's highlighted. I'm going to right click, vertical line properties. Now this is where I can change the color. Say I wanted this one to be green. I click OK. Now it's a green line. I'm going to right click again, vertical properties. Now I want to change to a thicker line. Now you see how much thicker that went, a little more bold, easier to see. I'm going to right click on it again, vertical line properties. Now I want to change it to be a dotted line. I can't, because this is the one step down. You have to have the narrowest line, then you can change over here, a drop down and get to, for example, that dotted line. And I click OK. Now I have a different line that some people like to use that as a way of trading. Okay, now I'm going to click on the vertical line again. It says draw object as background. I click here, then I click there. Now see what it did? It went behind the bar that I'm using instead of on top of the bar. So those are all things that make your trading a little bit easier. Now I'm going to look again. Now, are there any other things that we want to do here? First of all, I want to change this back to a solid line. And you can have it so that it only appears on certain time frames if you would like. I just like to have it on all the time frames. So that's all I had for the line, other than you can change colors, and it showed you how to do that. Now let's take this horizontal line. You click on it, put it there, and everything that we showed you how to do on the vertical line is the same thing. You have to make sure it's double clicked, and then it has a mark there. You right click, properties, and all the properties are going to be exactly the same as far as the colors. Now I'm going to hold the control key down and create a second line. I'm going to click on the line, and then this one I want to go to the properties, and I want to change it to a red color, and then click OK. So now this is what I use this was set up for. I say, okay, this is my stop. If I were to take a trade there, and say I took a trade some places and broke right there, so that's what I have there as far as my trade. Then you can say how far out you want to put your take profit, and so you can measure that. So that's how I use these lines. Now this is where I use this one. I say, okay, that is my hard stop, but I'm going to use a take profit. A couple of things you can do. You can go up and click another line, bring it down to take profit, and I double clicked on it, and then I right clicked horizontal line properties. I go here, and sometimes I put this as a gold, and that's my take profit. And so I use 3 colors when I'm using that as an example. And you can change these as dotted lines also. Now I'm going to show you how to do the angled line. I'm going to hit, first of all, I'm going to clear off all these lines off my chart. I'm going to hit Control B, as in boy. It brings up this section here, and then I'm going to hit Control A. That says all, so they're all highlighted. And then I'm going to click Delete, and that's how I get rid of all the lines at the same time. Control B, this box pops up. Then Control A selects everything that you have, and then click Delete, and you can clean off all the lines of all your charts. Now I'm going to do this angle line. I click on the line, and I want to draw it right there, for example. Now, there's a couple of things. First of all, I want to show you, you double click it, you right click, and trend line properties. Now, there's a box here under parameters that says ray. If I click that and go like this, then it shoots way out. Now I'm going to hit the delete key and draw that again. So now I'm going to say I want to find this. See, as soon as I click on it, it draws a big long extended line. I double click. Now it's highlighted, but it's sometimes a little more difficult to work with. Okay, so I'm going to right click on it again, trend line properties, uncheck the ray, then click OK. Now it's just back here between these dots. Now I can drag it to where I want it to be, and that's what I like about that one. Now, what was the way we duplicate lines? We highlight it just like that, hit the Control key, and then we bring it down like this. So you have 2 lines that are being used right there. Now, how do we get rid of them again? I could highlight them and go delete, or I could Control B, Control A, delete, and that cleans off all the lines. And so I get used to doing that. Control B for bring up the box, and then Control A for all, and then delete. So I do that quickly. Okay, now we're going to talk about this anchor. So you see there's one on the top, and there's one on the bottom right now. And when you go right over here, this says scroll, and this says shift. I mean, there's more words there, but the first words are scroll and shift. But I'm going to take the top one off. I close that one, and now it puts the charts right over here to the edge. I don't like them over to the edge personally, and so I click this one, and then I can move the anchor wherever I would want it. Now I'm going to turn the bottom one off. I just clicked on it, and the bottom one went away. Now, what happens, as soon as I move it over, it won't stay. It wants to come back and attach itself right to this top anchor. That's because the bottom one is not there. If you have the bottom one, then you can move it. So I turn the scroll on. Now this is here. Now I can move the charts to an area, and they'll stay right there. So notice when I click on the anchor and I drag it, there's a vertical line that appears. And as soon as I let up on it, the line goes away. This is where I bring my lines into play. Now I'm going to change this, double click, right click. So I double click to bring up the boxes. I right click to bring up this box. I click on vertical line properties, and I want to take that and make it solid. And draws background, I'm just going to leave that the way it is. There we have that. So that's what I have. And you can find color schemes you like. Many times I use a white line or a lighter color, because I mean a color that I can see well on my platform. So that's how we anchor that to there. Now, what is the anchor for? Why is that important to us? We have to be on a 1 hour chart. I want to see this exact point right here on a 30-minute chart. That's what it'll look like in a 30-minute. That's what it'll look like in a 15. Now let me show you where I really like using this. I'm going to see, I move this back over, and now I'm going to go right here. Why did I put that right there? Well, the way we trade, that is a setup. This is called an early bird filter. This is called an early bird up here, and this is a filter. So it had to be red, red, bottom one red. The middle one does not have to be the same color. That it would be a heads up on this 1 hour time frame. See this anchor? I'm moving the anchor. I'm putting it right below that vertical line right there. Then I go to the 30-minute. That's what it looks like on the 30-minute. See, what I'm really looking for is a male. This is called a male indicator, and this is the filter with our scanner. Male filter. Oh, let's go back here. Yes, this is an early bird filter, but it's also a male filter. And this is a 4-bar, but it's also a male filter, because there's a setup that's a male filter that is the one that I'm wanting to appear. If there's anything more than that, that's just stronger confirmation. Male filter. This was a 4-bar as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now I know that's where I wanted to enter that trade. Okay, now let's go to a back one step. This is an early bird, but it's not an early bird filter because this one is not the right color. But say we saw this and we wanted to see how far before the 30 minutes started agreeing with that 1 hour. Right there, say I wanted the 30-minute to be a 4-bar at that point. So it's 1/2 an hour later. Now what does the 15-minute do? The 15-minute doesn't agree with that. The 15-minute, I have to double click on this line to move it. I don't want a 4-bar right there. That's where I can see how far off that 1 hour time frame before the 15-minute hit. And so when you're looking at this chart, if you first see it and you want to wait for the 15-minute, you don't see all the stuff off to the right. You want to wait for that 15-minute to happen. And when it finally hits your parameters, then you know, heads up, okay, it's been a little while. It took a while for it to attach itself to the chart. So we have the lines. I use them to mark points of interest for me on a larger time frame. Now, the next thing I'm going to share with you, this is good for reference areas. Right here, for example, I want to see what this area is. What I'm doing is drawing a box. First of all, let me show you about the box. I can click on the corner and it'll highlight. Then I right click and go to the properties. Now if I click this, the box goes solid. And I right click again to go to the properties. See, I don't like that. I'm going to hit the delete key and delete the box. Now I'm going to draw the box here. It's just too busy for me. For some reason I don't like that. I click the corner, I double click, then I right click, and go to properties and draw. So I want to draw it as the background. Like I just want it as a box. So that's the area that I'm looking at. Now you can go here also, rectangle properties. Notice the lines here. I've got it on the second one. What if you wanted it really thick and had your box bolder? Okay, that's the size that I like. Okay, so when I want to look at this area, we're on a 1 hour chart. I take my anchor, I just place it someplace in the middle so that I know that that'll kind of come up. I want to see what it looks like on a 4 hour chart. Okay, that's what it looks like on a 4 hour chart. What does it look like in a day? Well, it's all in the same day we're at. Now, the other thing you can do is this vertical line, just set it right on the edge of one of the front or back edges. Now I want to see what it looks like in a smaller time frame, a 30-minute and a 15-minute. And you can say, okay, that's the area, that's what it looked like in each of those things. That helps you sometimes to study, analyze. Okay, have you ever heard of a breakout strategy? Okay, so I'm going to hit the delete key because this is highlighted, so I can hit the delete key and it'll go away. Right back over here. That's kind of a breakout strategy. Now, how do we get there? See, I can move this over, and because this anchor's on, I can go to it. I'm going to turn that anchor off. That's the scroll bar. Okay, now it stays clear back over here, and as soon as it changes prices, then it goes back. Now what I want to do is mark this right here. I don't have the anchor on. So now when I go to the 30-minute, it goes clear back. I bring it over. I try to bring it over. It keeps on flipping back. Okay, that's where the anchor is. You just click on the anchor and go right there. Now, I go to the 15-minute and the 5-minute. Now that had to populate. So if it does that to you, it's populated. So let's go back to the 1 hour chart and then go to the 15 and the 5-minute. See, it's way off the page. So I can slide this back. That's that sideways movement. You don't even need to look at it on the 5. The 15 is even better. But you can pick some areas. Now, so what you're looking for here is a breakout. So say you don't see this area over here where it did take off. I'm going to double click that box and I'm going to draw it out as if, and that's what we're looking for there, is to see as it goes. And as the market moves across, then it breaks out. Then you could say, when it breaks out, I want to go into that. So you could say right there at that line, the top of this box, you can either use a line or the top of the box as a reference. That's where I want heads up when it breaks that support or resistance level. You notice this came up gold. That's because that's the last color that I selected. If I double click on it, you can see that it has little boxes now. Then right click, horizontal line properties. I'm going to change it back to that color. And if you don't like it, I click on it and I can just delete that line. Or I can right click and delete that box. Double click. This one I can't delete because it's not, it doesn't even show up until I highlight it. Then right click, now it shows up so I can manage that line and delete it. So this box, that's where you can draw boxes around breakout strategies for when they break out. At least you have a visual as to what's taking place. I'm going to go back to the anchor. Now the anchor is not always here at the bottom when it starts off. And I'm going to have to switch to a different template to show you. Okay, let me go to this template. I'm going to get rid of this grid, and I'm going to hit a plus key there. I like to see bars. Okay, now this is just a blank screen that comes up, and I don't see my anchors anymore. So I click on the anchors, and I don't see them. Well, I do see them. There's one up here at the top, and the other one is right here at the bottom, but they're gray. It's hard to see. So I'm going to right click and go to properties, or you can just hit the F8 key and go to properties. The anchors are colored based on the grid. You don't have to have the grid up, but the grid needs to be a color. And so I'm going to say I like it white because it's easier to see against this black background. When I turn this one off, it goes right over to the edge. So I'm going to turn it back on. Then this one is off. I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to turn it off. When it's off, it's there. Now, it's in the corner. If you click on it, then you can drag it out. It'll stay where you put it until you change it next time. I can turn it off. It goes away. Turn it back on. It comes back. So you click on the anchor. Well, the best way to do is right click, go to properties, and change your grid is the color. How you change the color on the anchor. You can change it to whatever color scheme you want. But that's how you find the anchor to start with. It's right over in the left lower corner. And if you can't see it, click on this button on or off and see if it comes and goes. If you can't see it, then change the right click, go to properties, and change the color of the grid to be something different than the background. If you have a light background, go to a light color grid. If you have a light color background, go to a dark color grid. There's one last thing I wanted to show you, and that is the crosshairs. And there's several ways to bring them up. You notice I don't have the crosshairs listed up here. The way you can do that is I right click in this area and go to customize. Click on crosshairs, insert. Okay, now what if I want it at the bottom or I want it at the top? I'm going to put it up here at the top. So I click the up. Now that's just how you organize it in your screen, and click close. So that's where the crosshairs would be. So if you click on the crosshairs and bring it down, there's your crosshair. And I left click, it goes away. I'm going to right click, customize, hit the crosshairs and remove, and then hit close. I don't like the crosshairs up there. I use the roller wheel on my mouse as a button. So I just push down on it, and there's the crosshairs appear. I do that so fast that I don't even think about it anymore. To get rid of it, you left click, right click, there's the crosshair. Now here's a feature you want to be aware of. Now I'm going to click and drag it out. Now you see three numbers. There's a 6, a 175, and an 11.644. The one on the left is the number of time frames you've gone over. So right here I've gone over 10 time frames. Now you notice that angle on that is getting bigger and smaller as I move it up and down. That's the number of pips you've moved away from that line. It's 23. The last number is a fraction, so it's not 230 pips, it's just 23 pips. And the one on the right is the price at that point. You let up on it, it goes away. I go over here, and there's the lines. Now, how do I use that? So I click here. I want to measure how long this went. That went a total of how many pips? 116 pips, and it took 10 time frames. This is on a 1 hour, so it took 10 hours for that whole move to take place. Or say you want to just measure a bar, this long bar right here. So I flick it, go down, that measures the long bar, 63 pips in that 1 hour bar. Go back here, go to my template, and I want the filter to be on my charts. So that's what I have there. So if I want to measure this move right here, I click the button. Say top to bottom, that was 43 pips. But say you got in, I take this line and say, well, this is where I got in, right here, and it went 34 pips, but I only took out 24. So that's how you can measure things. Okay, let me show you a strategy and show you how you can mark this. I'm going to say that's where you came into the arena. We don't see anything off to the right. That's just that we're at this point right here where that vertical line is. And I'm going to need the anchor. So how do I get the anchor? I click up here, get the anchor, put it at the bottom. So now that's marked. Now I'm going to do 1 hour, 30, and 15. Go to the 30-minute. First of all, I'm looking, is that a Mayo filter? Yes, it is. Is that a Mayo filter? Yes, it is. It says, oh, maybe there's a trade in there. 15-minute. Is that a Mayo filter? No, it isn't. So 15 says, no, that didn't match up. And you can see what happened after that. So you say, okay, where does this is what I would want to do. I don't want to wait until the 15-minute became a Mayo filter. So I double click on this line, and that's when it came in. Now I want to go back to the 30-minute and say, is it lined up? Yes, it's a Mayo filter, and the 1 hour is a Mayo filter. So right there, he possibly could have received a signal to take a trade. Was it a good trade? No, it went sideways. That's how you use the lines. So I'm illustrating using the anchor, vertical lines, and different time frames. I've covered all the information I want as far as the tools, how to use them, how I use them in the different time frames. So we've shown you how to use everything, everyday tools that most traders overlook. They don't use them to the extent that I do. We've also talked about the nth degree trading system and the Norwood strategy scanner. And we have only seen a small portion of some of the overlooked trading tools. To go along with the other tools we've talked about, we have pip clubs. We've talked about tools, we've talked about course material, an alert system, the scanner, and pip clubs. And that you can see other people trade and you can follow along if you would like. So we have an offer for you today. We've given you some education. Now, if you want to take advantage of it, if you don't already, then this is something you could take a look at. The nth degree trading system, the scanner, the European, US, and Asian pip clubs. If you have purchased the scanner by itself or you're on a trial, you can attend all 3 sessions. Now, that's just being opened up. Before it was just the US session. Now we have the European, US, and Asian sessions. And then we have the Fibonacci course. And we're offering 2 months of the subscription to the scanner. And we have some special trading sessions with Jed and possibly with me as well. And if you valued all this, it's $1,897 if you broke it down individually. But with this offer, you can get all of this for $697. That is the trading course material. If you already have that, get in touch with me if you want some of the other things. We have the scanner. You get 2 months of the scanner. And as long as you have the scanner, you have access to all of the trading rooms. You get the Fibonacci course, and you get the 2 month subscription to the scanner with this purchase. After that, you would have to start paying the subscription price, which is $100. And then some special trading sessions at least one or possibly two a month for a couple of months. Now here's the link. You can click on that link and order. This will be in the recording, so I'll leave it here for a minute, and I'll come back to it. I want to go here. If you have questions, you can email us, and we'll get back to you sooner, as I'm not always by the phone, but we'll get back to you on the email or the phone. That's on the website, so you can find that. Here's the link. Okay, you have to go to the area where the lines are and right click, go down to customize, and then if the box is not over on this side, you should see the box on this side, because normally it would be over here. And so I actually bring it over, so if it's not there, I click on it, go insert, and there's my box, and I want it to be right there at the end, and that's how you get the box. You click on the box, so you click on the box and let up on it, and then you draw it, and we showed you how to do the colors on it. But if you don't see it up here on your dashboard, that's how you find it. The bid and ask lines. Okay, let me answer that as well. The right click and then go down to properties or hit F8, and I'm going to go to common. Now here you say show asks line. That does not always appear. You have to usually select the show the ask line, and then the ask line, here it says right here, ask line, what color do you want it to be? It will default to a different color than white in most cases. So now I'm going to close that. If I go to a smaller time frame, it's easier to see the bid and ask line. Here's the bid and ask line. I've changed the colors so that they're both the same color. And the top one is the ask line, and the bottom is the bid line. This is called a bid chart. All of these lines are formed based on the bottom line, the bid line. So if you see right here, this bid line at one point was at the top, and it was at the bottom. That's what the line is drawn. Your price bar is drawn based on that bid line. I just like to see the spread. I have the spreads listed right here. The way you get the spreads, most people don't know this one, you right click and see spreads. I just took the spreads away. You right click again, show spreads. So they're the spreads that you have, and that's the difference between the bid and the ask lines. What goes on in the PIP clubs? Well, that's where we have several traders have microphones, and they can call out trades. If someone wants to raise their hand and have a microphone, we can give them the microphone. Many times they will take it, sometimes they won't. But you can ask questions about trading. It's a trading session, not an education session. At the end, we will discuss education material or items. Occasionally in the middle I'll show things, but mostly it's at the end. But we're taking trades, and we're actually trading, and you can follow along or explain what we're doing. And sometimes my screen is not going by what the guys are saying because I'm trading another pair and they're seeing a trade that they're looking at. And so you can listen to them and play along on your charts, or you can watch my charts, because eventually I get there, but I'm trading. Is there a way to place trades by just clicking on the screen? No, not just the way it sits here, but up in your left-hand corner, there's a little triangle. If you click that, this box comes up. Now, no matter whether I'm on the euro pound, say I go to the Swiss yen, it switches to what the Swiss yen is. Then you can just click on the buy or the sell box, and that will place a trade. If you like that up, that's great. If you don't, you click that and it goes away. Yes, the scanner only works on MetaTrader. It's programmed for MetaTrader. It will not work on TradeStation, NinjaTrader, Thinkorswim. It won't work on any of those because it's only programmed for MetaTrader. That is the most common platform out there, and it's free with all the brokers, and that's why we went with that. Now, that's not saying that these other brokerage or platforms are not good. In many ways, they have more features that are better than MetaTrader, but they're not common, or you have to pay for them, or they're tied in with specific things. And so we went with MetaTrader. So that's the only place that the scanner will work. If you want to trade on your other platform, you can, and find the indicators on MetaTrader. I've heard people do that as well. Okay, how do you add and subtract objects in these menu bars up here? There's 4 groupings. And you see these little vertical lines? That's one grouping until you get over to the other line. So let's go to these time frames. You right click, then customize. Then it lists all the choices you have. It happens to be that this just defaults to having all of the time frames there. If I want to remove the monthly and the weekly, I just put them over here. You notice that they're gone up here on the list. Well, I want them back there, so I'm going to put insert. Well, see, that monthly's in the wrong place now. So I click on it and I go down, and the weekly's in the wrong place, so I go down. So I want them in that order. I click close. Now they're back to where they were. If you want to change something in this section, you right click, customize. You'll see the choices you have of the other tools. And if you go to this one, customize, you see the tools. So that's how you can customize. And sometimes on certain platforms, the way it's set up, I will close a lot of those that I don't use. I don't use a lot of these over here, but I want them there. Otherwise, all this information gets moved over to this corner, and I like it to be closer to the center. These two things are the way I'm using now. I can take this, click on it, and put it right there, and replace the sequence that they are showing up. But I'm just used to having it there, so that's where I like that. Okay, Tony's asking a question. What does the scanner do that a person just clicking through the charts can do to see the trade setups? A human being can do so much, and you can do everything the scanner does, you just can't do it as fast, and you don't have the ability to analyze it as fast, but you can do everything that it does. For example, if you're looking at, say you like to trade the 1 hour, 30, and the 15, those 3 time frames, and you wanted to trade those on all currency pairs, I limit it mostly. I don't trade anything on the screen here, anything below the US yen. Usually these I don't trade as much. The only reason is they don't move as much. These, most of the time, these pairs move the most. I can't even keep up with all of those doing everything that the scanner does. Are all scans good? No. You might get a scan towards the end of a trend, and it's a good scan, but the trend is exhausted, and so there's not many pips left in it. Yeah, I just took a picture of it, put it on the Word document. The reason being is then I can make it bigger so you can see what's going on. This is the scanner dashboard. These are scans 25 minutes after this hour right here. We're at 19 now, so it happened about a half an hour ago. I only have 2 scans set. I closed off all the smaller scans because I didn't want to look at anything unless it was a longer time frame. This is male filter, male filter, male filter. Have you ever talked about that? That's all there is, those 2 time frames on the 4, 1 hour, and 30 minute. And if that scan came up, if you'd been looking at that time, you would have had a potential for a scan. So this is the part I can't show you in live because it's on my other screen, and for some reason it's locked on the other screen. This button over, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buttons you have access to. This button you will not have access to. That's where I program these strategies. So I'm going to bring these other boxes over and show you what they are. So I'm going to get rid of that. Here are the strategies that I have, and here are the different strategies that I can choose from. Okay, right here I have these two checked. That is becoming my favorite. And I would recommend if you get the scanner to look at this one first, because it's easy to understand. The others are great also, and sometimes they'll bring a scan that this one will not bring to you. For example, FC, that's filter cross, early bird filter. The trend line has to be on the correct side of the zero line, and it's a 1 hour 30-minute time frame. So you have to learn how to read those, and that's okay to learn how to read them. I mean, you should learn how to read them, but if you don't like that strategy, don't waste your time on it. Maybe you like this one better, or you like these. This has to be an early bird filter, 4-bar early bird filter on the correct side of the zero line on a 30, 15, and 5. So it's doing all the filtering for you, and all these 3 time frames have to match up before it goes. So there are videos to show you how to set this up, how to do all of this part right here. Here's how you choose which currency pairs you want to be traded. I've only listed down to this US yen. Everything above that is part of this. You notice I have the plus signal here behind each one of them. Otherwise, the scanner does not recognize which currency pair you're asking it to look at. All these scans that have previously happened, if I want to get rid of all those and just start off with a fresh scan so I don't have a big long list, using this box right here, you can click on it, this will pop up, and then you can say yes or no. I don't want to clear them off, so I'm going to, okay, I need to click no. You have to yes or no. Now this folder right here is the next one I'm going to click on. These are the strategies. Right here is the strategy config. That's when I send, you got to download this and put it into that box right there. That's where you get your strategies to pop up. So there's that one, and then I'm going to click on this settings box. Here's the settings. You can keep the dashboard always on top, and that's what I have. You can have right here, if I click on this and have the platform set on, I can have text messages sent to me. Do I want an audible alert, or do I want the section to pop up? You can leave those checked. Right now, that's what I have if I get a signal. And you can change if you want them to stay up for 30 seconds, or 15 seconds, 30 seconds, 45, whatever you want a number of seconds to stay up before it goes away. You can do that, but see, that's okay because this is where it's stored, so you can find them. I like to see what the fresh ones are, so when they pop up, sometimes you get 3 at the same time, and I sometimes don't like to have them stay up longer. 15 seconds is good, 30 seconds sometimes is good, and so you can decide. Anyway, so that's what there. Now you asked the question was, do you offer training? We'll have all kinds of training. When you subscribe to the scanner, this is a place it will take you to. This is where you click on download the scanner and attach it to your trading platform. This is where you download the strategies and attach the strategies to your scanner. They're not attached to the platform, they're attached to the scanner. The scanner is attached to your trading platform. And this is where the PIP club schedule will be, and you can click on this and it'll give you the list and you can choose to attend there. Okay, here's all these setup instructional videos, how to set everything up. Here's the terminology. But here are videos showing you almost all the terminology, well, all the different, these are not scams, these are just tools. Okay, let's just do the filter zero line cross. There's a video behind that, but I want to show you what that is. This is a filter. There's the zero line. When it crossed the zero line, that's the place. That's why I like that one, because many times that's where something is happening. See, when it crossed back below, something's happening going the other direction. And right here it went above, and see there's another move. So that's very powerful. So as you're waiting for a setup, you can say, I just want to have a signal when this crosses the zero line. I don't care about anything else. That's my heads up on a time frame. Go to the 4 hour, for example. Let's just go back to some place where right here, it crossed above this one barely, but that one for sure. So one of those two, you would have received a signal. This one would have happened right towards the end of that. Now see, I'm moving the anchor over here, and then I go to the 1 hour. It had to wait before it was set up to do anything, well, almost 3 hours. Then you get a good solid signal going in that direction. And then the 30-minute, it agrees at that point. So that's someplace in there is where you would get heads up on that signal. But it may have come, you start watching it when it first appeared here. So that's the one thing that I like about that one. So that's what you have here is all the different videos. Then here are the strategies. These are the videos to show you how to use the strategies. So if you sign up for the scanner, the strategies I would suggest you learn how to use first: male filter trend, and then the shorter time frames, a 15-minute fractal break. Those two would do you well. If you want to cancel the subscription, here you manage it yourself. You can cancel it anytime. That's where you cancel it. It cancels at the end of any month you've paid for. So that's what you get, the whole management place. So there's education there, but we'll be adding videos to this. Over here is where we're going to have the videos on how to use, it's called the Norwood Trade Manager. That's where we're going to have the stops, and it will manage the trade. So the size of the lot size, say I want to trade 1% of my account, it'll only take trades based on 1% of the currency pairs. Yes, we do have one-on-one training. You just send us an email, and Jed or myself will get back to you on that.